Dear students, today I am going to explain about three schema architecture, data independence, database languages and interfaces. This is the outline of today's presentation, three schema architecture and three data independence and DBMS languages and DBMS interfaces. First, let us see what is meant by three schema architecture. DBMS defines schemas at three different levels, that is internal level, the conceptual level and external level. So based on the thing, the schemas are classified into three types. Internal schema is defined in the internal level. It describes the physical storage structure and access paths. Okay, what is the access method used, what is the data structure used, that information will be defined by the physical schema or internal schema. Typically it uses the physical data model. Next is conceptual schema. Already we know it describes it will be described in the conceptual level. It describes the structure and constraints of the whole database for a community of users. Example for conceptual data model is entity relationship model. It describes entities, attributes and relationships and constraints. So the external, next is external schemas that will be defined in the external level, describe the various user views. Okay, so for here in the diagram we are having the three schemas will be specified. First, we are having the stored database, from that then where internal schema and then conceptual schema and then external schema, that is external views. Okay, so the mapping between internal schema and conceptual schema is called as a conceptual internal mapping. The mapping between conceptual schema and external schema is called, external view is called as a external conceptual mapping. Next we will see the what are the mean by data independence. What are the two types of data independences? First one is logical data independence. So logical data independence means the capacity to change the conceptual schema without having to change the external schemas and their associated programs. That is, changing the conceptual schema without changing the external schema, changing the lower level schemas without affecting the higher level schemas. It's called a logical, that is called as data independence. That means it will change the conceptual schema, that is structure, entity, attribute, relationship. It won't affect the view of the database. Then next is physical data independence, means the capacity to change the internal schema without affecting the conceptual schema. For example, the internal storage structure details can be changed, that it won't affect the what entity type is used, what attributes are used. It won't affect that. Okay, that is called as physical data independence. Physical data is independent. We are changing the physical data, that it won't affect the conceptual data. So mainly it is used to improve the performance. Next we will see the various languages and interfaces used in the database management system. So the DBMS must provide appropriate languages and interface for the each category of users. So already we have seen the different types of database users, end users, parametric users, naive and parametric users, casual users and sophisticated users, standalone users and so on. So the DBMS has to provide the interface for that each type of users. So first we will see what are the different types of DBMS languages. First one is data definition language. It is called as DDL. DDL. The name itself it is used to define the database. Okay, especially the database designers and DBA, database administrators, are going to use this DDL statements to define the conceptual schema. Okay, so because the conceptual schema only describes the what are the entities used, types used, attributes, and what is the relationship and what is the constraint used, everything should be specified in the conceptual schema. So the now to define that conceptual schema, the DDL statement should be used. So you should define internal and external schemas. For that also the DDL statements are used, because using the DDL create statement we can create the table as well as we can create the view also. Create, then we can use rename the table and so on. Next is storage definition language, SDL. It is storage, from name itself it is there, it is related with the physical schema or internal schema. It is used to specify the internal schema. The mapping between the two schemas may be specified in either one of these languages. Either it will be specified in DDL language or it may be in storage definition language. Next is view definition language. It is used to specify user views and their mapping to the conceptual schema. That's why we are having the multiple views there. The view level, external view level. Okay. Define view it is used. Next is data manipulation language. It is used to specify data manipulation operations like insertion, inserting data into the table, the rows, and deletion and updation. Okay, these are the main data manipulation operations to be performed. Frequently, we need to insert the data, delete the data, modify the data. Because it is a real world entity, it is going to change frequently. Okay, there are two types of DMLs, data manipulation languages. One is high level or non-procedural DML. Another one is low level or procedural DML. High level or non-procedural DML means it can be used on its own to specify complex database operations concisely. So using query, we can extract the data. Okay, using that query statement, we can extract set of data, set of rows at a time. So it is called as a set at a time DMLs. For example, we'll give select star from table, star from student means we can extract a set of rows at a time. So that's why it is called as a set at a time DML. Next is low level or procedural DML. It is used in embedded programming languages. So here looping structures and control statements, everything should be used to extract the data. Okay, the low level DMLs are called as record at a time DMLs. So using this, we can extract only one record at a time. If we want to extract more than one record, means we have to go for a looping statement. One by one it will be extracted. So here in this low level or procedure DML, it is embedded with the programming language. So here the DML high level, whenever DML commands, whether high level or low level, are embedded in a general programming languages, we will be having both. Programming language also will be there and database language also will be there. So the programming language is called as a host language. Whatever database language we are using, that is called as a data sub language. Next we will see now we have seen various database languages. Next we will see the different types of DBMS interfaces. There will be a first one, menu based interfaces for web client and or browsing. So menu based for browsing, we are going to use the menu based interface. We are going to click the particular operation we are going to perform. So often the menu based interfaces are used by the browsing. Okay, and those are using the web, they are going to use the menu based interface. Not only that, nowadays we are using that menu based interface for our standalone computers also. Then forms based interface displays the forms to each user. Suppose for example, we want to book a ticket in the IRCTC, railway reservation system means. So that one particular form is going to open. There you have to fill your details. You have to fill your name and date of journey and source place and destination place, train number, train name, and so on. This information will be filled in the form, then that will be submitted to the database. So that is called as form based interface. Next is graphical user interface. So here graphical user interface displays a schema to the user in a diagrammatic form. So mostly the form based interface and menu based interface, it will come under the graphical user interface. Here no need to remember the commands. Natural language interface. Natural language interface means that input, what input and output may be in a natural language, English like languages. So therefore that the natural language interface should be used. Speech input output. Here the voice input voice user voice is given as an input and output. Will receive the output also in a voice format, speech format. So nowadays for that purpose we are using natural language processing that speech input output and natural language interface also. It's a main recent research in the natural language processing. Then interfaces for parametric users. So parametric users, for example, bank tellers often have a small set of operations that they must perform repeatedly. So they are going to perform, suppose for example, we'll take bank clerk. Their teller is means bank clerk. Suppose any customer wants to check whether their account balance, means they will press simply some key F2. For example, they will press F2 and they will enter the customer's account number. They will get the balance details. Same thing if suppose any person wants to check that what is their FD interest and so on, that everything they are going to use on some particular operation. Frequently they are going to use that operation. Suppose they want to take printout, means printout some key will be used and so on. Okay, so this will be used in the keyboard only. Some set of keys should be defined with this functionality. And database administrators, already we know they are going to use DDL commands and as well as privileged commands to interact with the database system. Okay, so these are the various interfaces used in the database management system. So in this PPT, we have seen what is meant by 3 schema architecture. What are the different types of schemas: internal schema, conceptual schema, and external schema, and the data independence, physical data independence and logical data independence. And next we have seen the DBMS languages and interfaces. Thank you.